Just wanted to talk about this elective year, which is 2022. It's been very busy, it has been very hectic, and but we are glad that we have reached this stage where we have a few events before us, before the coming of the new year. But in terms of the Constitution, this year we were supposed to hold a number of activities, and I'm sure you still recall that when by the end of last year, mid-December, we did announce that we wanted to come up with provincial structures. And these elections were held right at the end of last year, and obviously going into the new year. We had provincial elections, which was not easy. You have the 10 provinces where you have to establish the various positions, and you had quite a lot of interest from our members who wanted to take positions. These elections went extremely well, and soon after that we had primary elections in order to prepare our candidates who were going to stand for the by-elections, which had been scheduled for April this year. Again, the primary elections went on well, and then we had the by-elections, which we were happy with in terms of the results, with ZANU PF taking over some 2 seats which previously had been held by the opposition. We were also encouraged by the increased number of voters voting for ZANU PF in the urban constituencies, which again encouraged us that we were now making inroads into what has been hitherto a stronghold of the opposition. We then moved to establish structures for the Youth League, and there were elections held in the districts as well as the provinces. And in the end, we had the conference for the youths, which again we ended up with establishing a new executive of 40 members, and 20 being the office bearers and the 20 being their deputies in accordance with the Constitution. We now have a very vibrant youth leadership who are raring to go, who feel that there is a challenge before them, that as they come in, they now face the 2023 harmonized general elections. They are in the process of revisiting their strategies, strategizing for their campaign, which will later be able to coordinate as a party with the other wings. After the youth conference, we went on to hold the conference for the Women's League. Again, the elections went on well. It was keen competition, but we had the majority of the members in the previous executive coming on board. It's now a mixture of the old guard as well as the new kids on the block. We now have a fully fledged Women's League executive, which again has been doing quite a lot in terms of campaigning. We had their contributions when we had the by-elections in Gokwe Kabuyuni, and they've been going around the entire country with programs for the women, and these programs have been quite popular. So we are happy that the new executive have hit the ground running, and they continue to campaign for the party and campaign for the president. Suffice to mention that when we had the youth conference, the women's conference, they also came up with their resolutions. And common in the two conferences was the resolution declaring the president, Comrade Dr. Emmerson Mnangagwa, as their sole candidate for the 2023 harmonized elections. After those two conferences, we had the big task of establishing the War Veterans League structures. As you are aware, war veterans in the past belonged to associations, but these associations were not part of the wings that we had. And therefore, in order to do that, we had to establish structures at the party district level, and then moved on to establish structures at provincial level. And at the provinces, they also came up with 4 members from each province who would then be recommended for consideration for the national executive. It was also part of our guidelines where we were encouraging that there should be a consideration for gender participation, and we are happy that this was fulfilled. The elections went on smoothly. At provinces, we had 1 or 2 complaints that were dealt with timeously, and I should hasten to say I'd like to commend the war veterans for showing a high degree of maturity in the way the elections were conducted and the way they behaved themselves throughout all provinces. Our last conference then was the War Veterans League Conference, which went extremely well, and we are happy now that this history has been made and that we now have a War Veterans League executive, which again will, with all these 3 wings, it will make our job easier, because all these wings will now form part of our campaign strategies, and we are happy that all the wings are raring to go, and we feel that we have an added strength, and as we go forward, I'm very confident that they will do their work diligently, and that the results will be very, very obvious. Now we have these 3 conferences behind us. We now have to go through the Central Committee elections, which we have started in terms of providing the guidelines to the provinces, and also to advise them of the distribution of those positions in their respective provinces. And we believe that this weekend we will be having the provincial coordinating committee meetings throughout all provinces, where they will be receiving CVs from those aspiring candidates for the positions in the Central Committee. As you are aware, the Central Committee is a very strategic organ of the party. It is a policy-making body, and we expect that the provinces, in responding to the guidelines, the criteria, will also put forward members of the party of integrity, people who have experience in the party, who have an understanding of where the party is coming, where it's coming from, where it is now, and where we are going. So I also expect high levels of maturity in terms of this process taking place. We will be, once we receive these CVs, we will then constitute a National Elections Directorate, which will also go through these CVs before elections are held. Now, after that process, we will now be preparing for our Congress, which is going to take place in October. And that will complete the process of really fulfilling what the Constitution demands in going through all these elective stages. And we look forward to the fact that all the work that is taking place now, the establishment of those structures, the coming up with those conferences, the resolutions that have come up, all in all, invigorates the party as it moves forward. We are now in a process of really now focusing on 2023 harmonized general elections. With all the wings now in place, it's now for us, as we go forward, to put our strategies in place and to get our teams on the ground. And once we do that, I'm sure we will benefit from the work that has been done. We are happy that we are seeing a lot of young people coming on board. We are also seeing a number of professionals taking interest into the activities of the party. And by saying so, I would also want to pay my gratitude to the affiliates who, in their numbers, have been doing quite a lot of work in campaigning for the party. And also mention should be made of the returnees, in other words, the groups which are coming forward, of members who previously were members of the opposition, who are now coming forward to join the party. We should be witnessing the launch of the program for the returnees in the next couple of days, where we will launch their program, which will culminate in those members who have coming forward being integrated into our structures and work with everybody else as we move towards the 2023 harmonized elections. So obviously, with all the processes taking place, what you expect when you have elections, inevitably, you have squabbles, you have people pushing each other, you have small fights here and there. That is expected in any election because of the nature of contestations. But I'm happy to report that throughout all these elections, this was very, very insignificant. And I'm happy that most of our membership have come on age in a point where they now find that for you to have a position in any structure, you have to make sure that you apply yourself as a party, you are disciplined, you are loyal to the party, you are loyal to the president, and you are very much aware of the dictates of the constitution of the party. And that there are so many positions, and for you is, as long as you work for the party, there is an opportunity that will come anyway. The openings are there, and what you have to focus in work for the party and follow what the party dictates from time to time. So I'm very happy that this year is progressed in that manner, and I just want to hope that as we move closer into the new year, we will be more galvanized, we will be more united, and work for the party, and that if we do that, I have no doubt in my mind that victory is certain, and that come 2023, the ZANU PF will win. And I'm happy that you, as members of the media, will also be working together with us and reporting whatever is happening for the benefit of our electorate and the generality of Zimbabweans. I want to thank you.
Honorable, yesterday was His Excellency's birthday. Is there anything that you would like to say pertaining His Excellency's birthday yesterday?
Yeah, I think we all want to wish him well. We also want to wish him more years, and we all want to wish that the Almighty blesses him, gives him strength and courage, because we believe that in a very short time he has managed to steer the ship. If we look at the road that the government has traveled, we feel very proud as a party that a lot of progress has been made in all the economic sectors, be it mining, be it agriculture, manufacturing, tourism, despite the effects of COVID and despite the presence of sanctions. A lot of progress has been done. And this is not just the observation by us. We have a lot of outsiders, foreigners, who have come and said, we are amazed by the progress that this country is making. And I think it is incumbent upon us to celebrate those successes and to continue to forge for further successes. So he has done well, and his birthday comes in at a time when he has made very positive strides in terms of the development of our country. And as a party, we have also done well, as I explained earlier on the smooth activities, processes that have taken place in this year. So I think it's quite a good birthday present for the president, that the government has performed well, the party has performed well, despite the other harsh elements, as I mentioned earlier on, the effects of COVID and the effects of sanctions. And I think I would like to appeal to the young people, not necessarily in our party, but basically young people in Zimbabwe, that there is so much to learn from the character and personality of His Excellency when one looks at how he has come all the way when he was young, his involvement in the struggle, his loyalty to the party, his loyalty to leadership, his courage, and his dedication to work and to apply oneself to work, and that he really applies himself. And that is something that we find missing in some of our young people, that we need to put a hard day's work. We need to put the maximum effort that we can put for us to realize huge successes. So I think there's a lot that we have learned, and also I think there's so much that we learned as a leader, being very approachable, being humble, and being a listening president. And I think so much that we learn, and the only thing we can do is to wish him well, and that all of us will probably take a leaf or two from him and from the work that he has done. And I want to thank all Zimbabweans for wishing our president well. Thank you. Who have 15 years behind them of being members of the party and in the structures of the party. We expect that 5 of these years, a minimum of 5 years, should have been covered at a provincial level. We also expect that people who qualify are those who have not been charged of offenses, criminal offenses, in the recent past, and also those who have not been subject to disciplinary hearings in the party in the recent past. We expect that those who come forward are members of integrity, members who have the potential to contribute significantly to the policy-making body of the party. We expect people who are loyal to the party, loyal to the president, who are conversant with the constitution of the party, and who have a fair understanding of the custom and practices of the party. I hope we have quite a lot of those in the various provinces. And I would like to wish success to those who are aspiring positions in this important structure of our party.